Good day teachers! Welcome back to my channel. Ngayon ay matutunghayan natin itong Expanded Career Progression Policy Executive Order 174 Series of 2022. Pero bago yan, intro muna tayo. Konti lang.
Executive Order number 174, series of 2022, refers to the career progression system for public school teachers, and it's actually for the promotion of professional development and career progression, as well as defining the career lines for the public school teachers. And this career line applies to all teachers in the elementary and in the secondary senior high schools. The executive order number 174, in terms of the different positions as shown on the screen, is actually an instrument which authorizes the creation of additional teaching positions in the teaching career line, and redefining as well the parameters in choosing between the established career options, particularly on specialized classroom teaching and school administration. Teachers are allowed to choose between career paths, and upon reaching MQ1, they can either choose to remain in the classroom or proceed with school administration. The progression and promotion are actually based on professional standards, which are already outlined in the implementing rules and regulations and subsequent issuances that the deped will be releasing. So, in effect, our vision for career progression is actually focusing on the following. Hopefully, no teacher one will retire as teacher one, and we shall define the career path, and ensuring that best teachers are also retained in the classroom, while others can have the option to do the classroom teaching and school administration, and advancement based on quality of practice is our vision. These are the four visions that we have in the career progression. And the strategy that is involved in realizing this vision includes the reclassification as the primary means of promotion, so that it is faster and self-paced. The positions teacher 4, 5, 6, 7, and master teacher 5 are actually avenue for all of us to move move forward rather than moving up by switching career. And we shall also clarify and rationalize career path, so that everybody will have given a higher teacher agency which path should they be considering. And of course, the upholding of quality standards, which is based on competency and merit-based promotion, with reclassification as a means to do that. This is in support of the uh, President's pronouncement that in this system, wala ng public school teacher na magre-retire na teacher one lamang. And in fact, the support has already been given to the department to ensure that all our schools shall have school principals and all of the other staffing complement. Moving forward, the choice of career path are actually defined in this slot, which means that aspiring school principals can actually look at being proficient under the PPST career stage 2. You can have that teacher 4, 5, 6, and 7, and this can also be in preparation for the aspiring principals. When you reach the master teacher 1, as earlier presented, having salary grade 19 to 22, which are comparable in the school administration and classroom teaching. Uh, this is the reason why we're saying that it's either you move up in the same career path or switch based on your preferences. So let us go on the provisions that are actually directly affecting the present participants for now. I provided this general overview of the expanded career progression so that in time or in case you will be assuming positions higher than what you are holding now or even retaining, you can be the ambassador of the central office in ensuring that the right information are provided to your constituent. So what are the transitory provisions as reflected in Title 5 of Executive Order number 174 and its implementing rules and regulations? Let's go to the section 19, which is the transition period. So the transition period shall be 3 years reckoned from the date of the issuance of the IRR. If you recall, sometime in October of 2024, the IRR has been signed and the deped, the DBM, CSC, and PRC are, as provided, advised to execute transitory measures and establish the operational guidelines and mechanisms to ensure a smooth transition and effective implementation of the ECP. So, under that, which is also discussed in Section 20 under the transitory provision, is the conversion of existing vacant positions. Okay. So, there is a general rule of scrap and build in which all vacant positions shall be converted to Teacher 1. So what are those? The position which can be found on the ECP that includes Teacher 1 to 3, the Master Teachers 1 to 4, and the School Principal 1 to 4, if until within 1 year, DepEds to employ all necessary means to fill up the position through regular hiring process. So there are several still considerations of that. The fact that our department order has been issued on the appointment for natural vacancy of higher teaching positions. Uh, this is part of the commitment of the department under the natural vacancy uh, procedure. And then we need to convert the teacher item 1 year after the issuance of our IRR, which was the, uh, the July of 2026. July 26 of 2025, I should say. But there are positions that are no longer in the expanded career progression, and that includes head teacher 1 to 6, the assistant school principal 1 to 3, right? So for those vacant items, this shall be converted into teacher 1, and the process shall include the issuance or request for the conversion to the Department of Budget and Management. On the same section 20, the scrap and build is that gusto ko lang pong klaruhin that only those vacant positions can be converted. If there are incumbents in the different positions that are no longer existent in the ECP, there are other position action that can be implemented. Now, so like for instance, position like T1 to T3, MT1 to 4, and P1 to P4 within 1 year, DepEd should fill up all of those, right, through natural vacancy procedure. But if we are unable to fill this up within 1 year period, then that's the only time that we should be converting it to teacher one positions. But we're looking forward that the same mechanism should be adjusted accordingly, because we know for a fact that if all items are already existent, then there should be retained, except of course for those positions that are no longer in the ACP. For positions, as I mentioned, that are no longer included in the ACP, that's called uh, the HT group, the assistant principal group. Uh, this is the for this is for conversion if these are vacant. Next slide. So if you look at the other option, which is also what we call staffing modification or position action, which calls for retitling of existing field positions. That is where the difference lies. One, the other is vacant or unfilled. This one has something to do with existing positions which are filled, or which means that there are incumbent holding the position. So, existing field positions that are no longer included shall be retitled to the positions of equivalent salary grades. So, you can see here the matching placed just the box with each other, like SST1, which is the Special Science Teacher 1, which is salary grade 13, that is equivalent to teacher 3. Say, for example, we use the generic T1, T2, T3, and T4. However, for positions that calls for specialized items like special science, special needs education, the same parenthetical title should be retained. The special education teachers, or hopefully, I think they should have been changed into SNET, the head teacher 1, and SNET, which is salary grade 14, equivalent yan to teacher 4. Yung SNET 2 and head teacher 2 at 15 is teacher 5, head teacher 3, SPED 3, and SST 2 is teacher 6, head teacher 4 is SNET 4, and teacher 7, assistant school principal, head teacher 5 is master teacher 1, assistant principal 3 or head teacher 6 can be converted in or retitled into school principal, but note that there is an asterisk for qualified, and must must be uh, meeting the qualification standards. The same thing is true with assistant school principal at salary grade 20, which is equivalent to school principal 2. Hold your horses, because there are still something that we would like to discuss on the next slide. Under Section 22 of the same provision, the promotion or reclassification of incumbents, as mentioned, qualified individuals who at the time of the effectivity of this IRR are holding the current positions, as indicated in the previous slide, which is Section 21, which deals with head teacher ASP, may be promoted or reclassified to appropriate positions in the ECP system that are commensurate to their qualifications and proficiency level, of course, subject to the assessment and applicable staffing standards and deployment parameters. What does it mean? On the next slide, if any of the head teacher 6, assistant school principal 2, or assistant school principal 3 have already met the qualifications and eligibility for QS and school heads assessment, they can be considered as qualified for principal. Otherwise, they can be established to be non-qualified or not qualified for the position. So they can be retitled to equivalent school principal position for those who are qualified, or or be designated in terms of the desired functions as performing existing function in the same school by virtue of the designation, or perform function of a school head designate in schools with needs. For the uh, not qualified, is retitling to equivalent master teacher position, or assume a function by master teacher, or perform their existing function in the same school by virtue of the designation, or perform function of a school head designate in school with needs. The promotion through reclassification in terms of opportunities is that it should be either natural vacancy or not or reclassification process, and also they can do the switching of career lines. As seen on the slide, it might be construed that some of which are actually something that we need really to deep dive on, because as I am seeing right now, there are so many questions. But the basic and the fastest answer to that is there might be some school standards or standards for school and assessment, and that must be met first. Nonetheless, because of the, as I mentioned in my opening statement, that there are still some concerns with respect to school leadership, we're doing something that hopefully will address those concerns individually or in terms of the institutional direction. So for the incumbent head teachers 1 to 5 and the assistant school principal 1, then the decision options may include is either to be retained in the same position, or be retitled to equivalent master teacher or teacher position, right? So when you choose to retain, you can perform the same function, which means you should be designated as either a department head or uh, uh, what's this? Still be a school head of that. But there can be promotion to school principal through reclassification or natural vacancy. We just would like to point out that this retitle or being retained, you still have the option to be retitled to comparable position within the 3-year transition period, after which, if we fail to be retitled, if you choose to retain, then the items that is being occupied shall become coterminous with the incumbent. For retitling, you can still be retitled, but assume the function of a teacher or a master teacher, or you perform your existing function upon retitling by virtue of the designation, or even as a school head in schools with needs. These are what is provided for in section 24. And in the same manner, under this, you can still be promoted through either reclassification or natural vacancy, or an option to uh, switching career lines as part of the promotion opportunities. What is also highlighted in the IRR is that we put in there that incumbents, head teachers, and ASPs shall be considered as on-stream candidates during the 3-year transition period, which means that professional development interventions shall be given to equip all of you with uh, the necessary knowledge, skills, and attitude to become full-fledged principals, and a priority on promotion or reclassification to appropriate school principal without passing through master teacher 1 position. As earlier presented, once the full swing implementation of the career prog is in place, the convergence point of teacher 1 up to teacher 7 is master teacher 1 prior to choosing career path either in school administration or teaching career line. More so, we would like to highlight that if after the 3-year transition period, on-stream candidates who opted to retain their current position and fail to advance in their career or request the retitling of their current position to the equivalent position in the ECP, as I mentioned, the position they are holding shall be tagged as coterminous to the incumbent. Once CTI positions are vacated, there should be converted to Teacher 1, and such separation of the incumbent, which can either be retirement, resignation, or any separation, this shall trigger the conversion. Under Section 25 for SNET and SST, right, ito tumama na to, the positions of special needs education teachers and the special science teachers shall be retitled to the equivalent position in the ECP and shall maintain the parenthetical title as SNET and SST. So as I mentioned, the teacher 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shall be generic with parenthetical title as necessary. Next slide. In terms of designation and redeployment of excess items and or incumbents, the staffing complement resulting from the retitling of positions shall be subject to redeployment of positions and or personnel to schools with identified needs. Just to illustrate, a head teacher 6 who is able to meet all the qualification standards or is ready to assume the positions of the principal, they should be redeployed. And or if not, the school head designate or assistant school principal designate or department head designate. So all of this shall matter after which the retitling of position shall be made. Either you retain the same function or you choose to opt the comparable position. Now, how are we moving forward in terms of this? Uh, so the ways forwards include one, we have actually submitted and the executive order number 174 rules and regulations as basis, the IRR. There are several policies in the pipeline, which includes the qualification standards for teachers 4 to 7 and master teacher 5. We have also the joint memorandum circular on modified classification and compensation and system of career progression for teachers and school heads in the public basic education system, and also the deped order on the expanded career progression system. With that in mind, we shall be implementing the transitory provision by filling up of vacant positions, especially the school principal, using the department orders number 7 and 21, series of 2024. And we shall look into the deployment of NCAS passers. We shall reclassify qualified head teachers and ASPs to school principal. This is the most important, refocusing NQuest on competency assessment for buzzers. What do I mean by that? Initially, based on several issuances, the NQuest is treated as a qualification standards that is a requirement for procedure. However, for 2025, this year, the NQuest 2025 shall be more of competency assessment. This means it does not require passing or failing. We just establish your strength and development areas for aspiring principals. And we will build on that, uh, looking at your respective competency assessment results, provide intervention, and even PD in practice so that all of those are given that opportunity to move up in the ladder of the progression, whether school administration or otherwise. And this is actually covered in the L&D system for prospective school heads with definite professional development framework so that leadership and management potentials are carefully enhanced. We would, of course, envision that the school heads are truly cut for school leadership and is mindful of the organizational commitments and outcomes that are actually happening inside the classroom. So, with all of that, I'd like to thank everyone for listening, and I hope that we'll be able to answer some of the queries later on. But I'd like to highlight that uh, based on the reports that we have gathered, and I would like to thank everyone for uh, answering diligently the tools which we deployed. We found out that there are several who are actually meeting the qualification standards but might be deficient in one. But we are designing a way of addressing that so that everything will be to the benefit of those who are affected. So that is a very an overarching statement just for purposes of informing everyone that the HROD is really doing something that would benefit all of those who will be affected by the implementation of the IRR. So thank you very much at magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat.
I'd like to clarify one slide from the presentation of Yusek Cabral. This is pertaining to the head teachers 1 to 5 and ASPs, ASP 1 who opted to retain their positions. Okay, so as presented in the slide, our ASP or ASP1 and head teacher 1 to 5 may opt to retain or retitle their current position. If they opt to retain their current position, they shall function this they shall perform the same function and as well as they may opt to retitle or to be retitled with to the equivalent position within the 3-year transition period. However, after the 3-year transition period, the item of the HT1 to 5 or ASP1 shall be tagged as coterminous to the incumbent. As such, the promotion opportunities of such incumbents shall only be through natural vacancy. The reclassification option for those positions or those incumbents who opted to retain their items shall no longer be available. So, ang mangyayari po nito, if ever po, no, i-retain po natin, no, pinili nating i-retain yung item natin as head teacher 1 to 5, head teacher 1 or 2 or 3 or hanggang 5, no, we can be promoted to school principal position through natural vacancy. Ngayon, kailan po magkakaroon ng natural vacancy? It's either through creation of new position, either through retirement of the incumbent, resignation of the incumbent, or any form of separation. So, ganun po yung ating promotion opportunities if we retain our positions. On the other hand, if the incumbent chooses to retitle to the equivalent master teacher or teacher position, the promotion will be through natural vacancy or reclassification along the lines of the expanded career progression, either through classroom teaching or school administration. Kasi they will be entitled to the switching of the career line. So that's it for the clarification.